Welcome to Spring LIB.
In this exercise, we have to justify why it's impossible that a ball that's hit with a speed of 41.7 meters per second and at an angle of 35 degrees clears the bleachers that are located 24 meters high and 130 meters from the home plate. Well, in order to justify why it's impossible, the first thing I'm going to do is to calculate how much time it takes for the ball to travel 130 meters in the horizontal direction. So from the first formula that is highlighted in red, we have that the movement of the ball is a uniform one in the horizontal direction, and the time is just equal to the distance x traveled divided by v0x, the initial speed in the x direction. And the initial speed in the x direction is just v0 times the cosine of theta. In our case, x is 130 meters, v0 is 41.7, and the cosine and theta is 35 degrees. So what we have, if we do the calculation, is that the time is 3.8 seconds. So this is the time it takes for the ball to travel 130 meters horizontally. So what we need to calculate now is how far up the ball travels. What is the height of the ball after 3.8 seconds? And if the ball was hit at the origin and y0 is 0, then y equals v0y, which is v0 times the sine of theta, times t minus 1/2 of gt squared. So we have y equals y0, which is 41.7 times the sine of 35 times 3.8 minus 1/2 of 9.8, which is g times 3.8 squared. And this is equal to 20.1 meters. So notice that the bleachers are located 24 meters high, but when the ball reaches the bleachers, its height is only 20.1 meters. And for that reason, the ball cannot clear the bleachers because it's still about 4 meters below the top of the bleachers. And for that reason, the situation is impossible.